Hey love, welcome back to my channel, it's Sonia. If you've ever found yourself stuck in a loop, obsessively thinking about someone, replaying your last conversation, checking their social media and hoping for a sign, you might be experiencing what is now commonly known as limerence. Limerence feels like love. It is giddy, it's exciting, but it isn't steady. It's a craving, it's a fixation, and it's a story that you can't stop telling yourself about the other person. And it's incredibly exhausting. Now, most people will tell you, if you are limerent, to just focus on yourself, cut contact with your limerent object, or raise your standards. And I want to say that while those are helpful, and they have actually helped me when I was previously limerent, they don't actually get to the root of what's actually happening within you and why you may be prone to limerence, but someone else is not. Because here's the truth. Limerence isn't just about trauma or about childhood attachment patterns or fears of being in love. Sometimes it's about your energetic pattern and your energetic imprint. And that's where BaZi comes in. So BaZi is an ancient Chinese metaphysical system that maps your energy blueprint based on your birth date and time. So it's like a cosmic snapshot of your elemental balance. So there are 5 elements naturally occurring in our environment, and which BaZi also draws on. And it's fire, earth, metal, water, and wood, and all live within you in different proportions. Alright? So each element governs certain emotions, certain behaviors, and certain tendencies within us. Some charts are innately quite balanced, others have an excess or lack of key elements, and that's where patterns like limerence can actually sneak in. Okay, so let's explore this a little bit further. How do each of the 5 elements then might show up in the context of relationships and limerence? So for example, fire. What does it represent when you think of fire? Fire is all about passion, burning intensity, fantasy, drama, a bit chaotic if it's not balanced well. Earth is all about stability, it's all about safety, security, protection, and caretaking. Metal is all about boundaries, refinement, clarity, detachment, and if unbalanced, can also lead to control, excessive control. Water, emotional depth, wisdom, mystery, intuition, but when it kind of is overbalanced or is out of balance, it flows without any direction. So people with very water-heavy charts that actually don't balance out their energies well, they tend to be pretty much, they can be quite directionless in life. And last but not least, wood. Wood is all about personal growth. It's about movement, it's about freedom, it's about vision, it's about leadership. So in love, these 5 different elements actually shape how you connect with other people. But like I said, when you're out of balance, especially in your BaZi chart, it can create unhealthy attachment loops. So here are some common energetic or BaZi chart patterns that I've seen in people, some of my clients that have been struggling with limerence. So firstly, too much of fire. You become addicted to the burning intensity, to the fantasy. You're drawn to highs and chase validation. When you have too little water, you avoid true emotional presence. You chase stimulation, but you cannot really sit with your feelings. So you may be uncomfortable with your own feelings. You have no idea how to self-regulate or self-soothe when you're upset. Or sometimes, even if your water is too hidden in your chart, like mine is, you are not even very sure of what you're feeling, from time to time. If you do not have enough earth in your chart, you don't feel safe being alone. You over-attach and you emotionally collapse when someone that you feel very attached to actually pulls away from you. Another one, if you have very weak metal as well, you struggle to cut cords, you struggle to say no, you struggle to erect boundaries, emotional and physical boundaries. So you spiral even when you know someone isn't good for you. And if, last but not least, you have excessive wood, okay, you are obsessed with fixing, chasing, or growing the connection. So you see potential, but you don't really, you're not really rooted in reality. Okay, the reality does not equal your fantasy, but you are unable to see that. You keep just looking at the potential, which doesn't really actually exist at the present moment. So when these imbalances actually exist, you unconsciously seek someone to balance you out, right? But the truth is, no one else can actually fill that gap for you. Only you can do the work to be self-aware, okay, and to balance your own energies out, to know where, things actually feel a little bit unbalanced. And it's also up to you to actually stay grounded in reality. So, how do you then identify your pattern, your energetic pattern, and if you are limerent? Okay, let's start by getting your BaZi chart. Okay, there are a couple of free calculators online, but I think you need to sign up to many of them. Okay, but I'll put a link down below in the description box. All you have to do is just input your birth time and your gender, okay, and you're good. And I could even help you interpret yours, okay, once you have it. You can just drop me a DM on Instagram. I'll put my handle down below. I can help you look at which element is actually missing or weak, which element dominates too much. Do you have strong output or resource stars, which relate to imagination and emotional needs? And too much of that would mean that you have an overly active imagination, and actually that's me. I have very strong output and resource stars. And we also look at whether your Rezu or whether your day master is actually supported. Okay, so the point really is not to judge yourself, it's not to blame yourself, and it's not to beat up on yourself. Okay, it's just to understand yourself a little bit better, to gently see the energetic terrain that you're actually working with, and to see how you can actually rebalance the innate imbalance. So how do you then rebalance each element? Okay, so once you know where you are imbalanced, or where there's a kind of lack of balance, or too much of an element in your chart, you can actually start to build energetic rituals and practices that support your healing. So for example, you have too much fire, it's time to ground yourself. It's time to slow down, prioritize real connection over fantasy, is to avoid overstimulation. Okay, if you have very weak water, too little water in your chart. So this is me actually. So what I do is that I journal a lot, spend time in silence, meditate, swim, take baths, connect to the element of water, touch water, touch it often, practice emotional honesty, and do very quiet self-care rituals. Okay, water is all about self-care. It's all about building your intuition and being comfortable with yourself. So if you have very weak water in your chart, this is something that you could do. A lack of earth, okay, this then shows that it's time to anchor in your routines. Cook, go to the grocery, buy vegetables, look at vegetables, look at plants, okay, be in nature, go for a walk, go to the park and literally touch some grass, okay, touch your own body. Lots of us don't actually touch ourselves or our bodies that often. Touch your body so there's a bit of more of a grounded connection. Exercise, okay, move. Earth is all about the connection and stability and grounded movement. Breathe deeply as well. Weak metal, okay, weak metal is all about learning how to set boundaries. Sometimes it's about decluttering your space so that your energy can be a little bit more expanded, and it's about practicing saying no and asserting yourself. So when you feel like saying no to something, don't hesitate and don't revert to that old habit, I would say, of people pleasing. Just say no, and see how that feels in your body. If you have excess wood, pause, okay, before chasing. Reflect. Is this connection or this potential that I actually am seeing as this person, is it real? Is it aligned with my growth, chasing this person? And let things unfold naturally with people, okay? Focus on your own personal growth. Wood is all about growing. So if you are actually hanging on too much to other people who do not love you back, who do not like you back, who don't reciprocate, it can actually really, really stop or affect your growth negatively. It can affect your freedom and can affect how you feel about yourself. Okay, which for wood people is not great. So another point I want to say is that you really need to let connections and let people unfold naturally and let them show you who they are. Okay, trying to assign or trying to future, fast forward the future kind of scenarios with them, imagining how great it is to be with them, doesn't really allow the situation to unfold naturally. Because a lot of people, when you actually get to know them better, you may not actually even really like them. Okay, the things that you may be fantasizing about them may not even really exist in them. Okay, so as if this is just a general piece of advice, and it's also for people with a lot of excess wood in your chart, don't think about or fantasize about the potential. Look at what the person is right now and whether they actually are aligned with you. So all these things I've actually mentioned so far, these are all energy work. Okay, it's not just mindset work, but it's a lot of energy work in being aware and knowing what are the tools that you can use when something is out of alignment for you. Okay, so if you're struggling with limerence or romantic obsession, it could be, limerence with a celebrity, it could be limerence for someone that you know. I want you to know this. You're not broken. You're not weird. Definitely not weird. You could just be a little bit unbalanced. And once you understand your energetic makeup, you can stop chasing people and start reclaiming your own power. And let me tell you, when you do that or when you reach that level, it is so amazing, so freeing, so amazing. You do not want to go back to being limerent. Okay, that is something that I can guarantee you. And you can also, when you are feeling, limerent and, you're kind of like in that bit of the emotional spiral, you can also bring in different practices to strengthen the less balanced sides of you. Okay, so to ground you back into yourself, to ground you back into your current reality. Limerence fades when you return to your center, when you return to yourself. So if you'd like to explore your BaZi chart with me, okay, leave me a comment down below, or you can DM me on Instagram. I will put up my handle in the description box. I'd love to help you map your healing path, and I'd love to help you emerge, freely from this limerence loop and never look back at it again, and to look forward and to have a life that you actually want. Okay, so I look forward to helping you, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you for listening to me in this video.